Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for attending this workshop. So I'm Jaime, and I'm a postdoc at Oslo University. And I have been working with R for many years, I don't know, more or less 10 years. And more recently, I've been working with generating reports in using R, and that's why are using this format called RMarkdown. So the idea is I will just present a few slides with some links to useful resources that you can use for your projects. But at the end, this will be more practical. So it's just like 5-10 minutes, just chatting a little bit, and then we will go for the practical part. So the idea is that at the end of this workshop, you can download a template in an RMarkdown template that you can use for your projects. And of course, you can check this template on the repository that we provided you, and you can modify it and change it and share it. So during the workshop, please feel free to interrupt at any time. So in case you have questions about the code or a function, just ask. Don't be shy. Okay. So Markdown, it's a formatting syntax to create documents like HTML, PDFs, or even Word documents. But or maybe you're more familiar with, for example, LaTeX, that it's widely used, for example, mostly for mathematicians or physicists. But we biologists, I don't know why we use more like R or simplified versions. So Markdown is one of these languages that it's easy and very easy to use to create documents. But RMarkdown, it's a little bit different because the difference is that you can insert and run code within the document. So you create your document, you write your text, and then you can add many features. For example, tables, images. I mean, same as LaTeX, but now you can insert code and execute that code. So for those that are not familiar with RMarkdown, or this is the first time, you can have a look to these references. So these slides are also in the repository, so you don't have to go to these websites. They are here so you can consult them later. And what else can we use? For what else can we use RMarkdown? So it's not to write PDF or HTML documents, but we can also create presentations. Actually, this presentation is written in RMarkdown. It's sorry for the how to say, it's not, I know it doesn't look very nice, but it's the first time I'm writing slides in RMarkdown. There is a package called thesis down. So you can write a thesis in using this format, where every file is a chapter of your thesis, and then you can compile everything together, and then this will generate like an index and will automatically figure the pictures you have. So it's very nice. I actually wrote my PhD thesis in RMarkdown, but before this package was existent. You can also write blogs or websites using Blockdown, or even books. It's another package called Bookdown. So they are you can do very nice things with this language. So for today, if you click here and go to this repository, you will find all the files, data that we will be using today. So here are a little bit the instructions. What do you need? The package that we used, and some contact details in case you need information or you want to modify this template. Okay, so now let's go to the funny part. So can you see my RStudio window? You can?
Yes, yes, you can see. You can see.
Or
that.
are you still see? Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So this is the document. So you will find it in the repository, and its name template RSG. And if you open it in RStudio, you will see this part, this code. So the RMarkdown starts with a header in another language, it's a language called YAML. And this header is like the basic configuration for your document. So you can insert that, information like title, subtitle, authors, dates, or many other features here. So if you click here in this knit button, then this will run this program, will render this document, and then will generate in this case an HTML document that you can see in this part of the editor. So here you have sorry, let's see it here. It's better. So here you have a table of contents, and this part here is what you write in the header. So here, and then you can add, for example, more people here. Say, let's add Bingham, for example. And then you recompile it, and then you will see here the change immediately here in the result. So I will explain almost line by line, and then you can tell me if you have questions or whatever you want to say. Okay. So basically, each time the text is written as it is, just with a few things that you need to add in case you want to edit the text. For example, if you write the text within stars, this will show this part as italics. And if you write it with 2 stars, this means this is bold. But the rest is as it is. So each time you are inserting R code, you need to create a chunk. So this is a piece of code, and then you have to type 3 times this little quote that it's like, I don't know the name, backticks, I think. And within each chunk, you can configure it in different ways. Like you can say, okay, I don't want to show messages. I want to print the code, or I want to print the code but not run it. So there are many options, many parameters, and the details and all the details for these chunk parameters are very well explained in the Markdown cheat sheet. So you can see here an example, and here you have the options, the parameters that you can set in each chunk. So just as an advice, each chunk should have a name followed by the, so here you open the chunk, and then you have R space and the name of the chunk. And this name should be unique, because if it's repeated, the program will crash. So make sure that this is unique names. So inside these chunks, you can insert the R code as it is. I mean, and as you write it in a normal R script. So here we are just loading the packages, and and loading the data from one of these packages that's called Palmer Penguins. So here we are saying when we is true and even true, this will run code, will execute the code, but will also show it in the document, as you can see here. Okay, so let's continue. So this is the next section are parts from the cheat sheet. So it's just what you, so I just copy paste them from them so you can see it and to have all of them in the same document. And yes, and this part, this symbol means add more space between a section. So if I delete them and run this again, you will see that the space here will disappear. So just to make it more nicer when we see the documents, but it's just to give to add space. Okay, so here we have the examples from this link: normal line, text in italics, text in bold, and you can include R code here. So for example, if you insert these backticks and any R code here, it will be printed. So for example, let's change this for letters. This will print in this case, the first 5 letters. But it's not executing. Yeah. Be executed. No. But it's just sorry. It's just it prints the text as it was a code, but it's not executing it. Sorry for that. And here we have a superscript. So here the 2 goes here in the text. You can also add quotes using this symbol before. And you can also write list, ordered or unordered list. Just inserting, if you start with number and dot, this will be an ordered list. And if you just insert stars or any other symbol, you can create an unordered list. Also, for those who have experience with LaTeX, you can also insert inline equations. So it's the same format as in LaTeX, but the formula has to be delimited by $, as in this case. And you can see here how it will be displayed, and also here. So if you are writing like a book, or sometimes you are adding footnotes and these footnotes will be displayed at the end of the document. So this is the format. You open it with a little hat, and all the text inside the brackets will be the footnote. And these footnotes, you can see them, they are automatically inserted at the end of the document. Any question or comment here? Okay, so then just feel free to interrupt at any moment, please. So as many of us are working and as a scientist, it's normal to cite someone else's work. So this format also allows to add citations, and these citations are added at the end of the document, as I just show you here. Yes. So how to insert citations? So first we need a reference file in the format .bib, and this format and this file needs a specific format for citations. So here, and these citations, this file for reference should be specified in the header. So here, in this line is actually finding this file with the references, and this file should look like this. So, for example, if you are using Zotero or other software for reference management, for example, I'm using Mendeley. You can copy, for example, this paper. You can copy as bibtext entry, and then insert this text here. And now, if we want to say this article, then we have to go again to our RMD document. Yes, here. And then we have to insert the reference. And to insert the reference, we have to add and the name that it's here at the beginning of the paper we want to cite. And then we compile the program again. Yes, and the reference was inserted here now. And if we check the reference at the end, there will be one more here. So that's a way you can insert them. But now, so let's say that we are writing a document or a paper for a specific journal. So there are ways to change the format that we are interested. So here I'm using one. The style for this journal, nucleic acid research, but you can choose any journal. So to change it, we have to go to this website. Oops. Yes. And here you choose a journal you want. For example, the journal eLife. It's here. And then you just can download the file in this format .csl, and then what you can do is add this CSL in the header. So with the bibliography you point to the bib file, and with the CSL you point to this formatting. So in this example, in the repository, these files are here, are provided here. So just for this example. And let's say that now, if we don't add this, if we comment this, then you will see that the citation style will change. And now this is the default format, but we can change it to, for example, other journal. And this is called eLife. Well, in this case is more or less similar to the default, but also how the reference is written. It will change a little bit. But let's keep the other one just for, I think it's simpler. Okay. And in case you want more information, you can check this, the RMarkdown cookbook, and then there is a dedicated section with how to insert other ways to insert bibliography. I show this one because for me it's easier to have all the references in a dedicated file. But I think there is a way to have the references in the same RMD document. But just check this link. Okay, so let's continue. Yes, as I mentioned before, the big advantage of RMarkdown is that you can write text and have the R code at the same time. So here we are generating this matrix or this plot with random data. But here, if we change, for example, this option, echo equal false, and we change it to echo equal true, so now we have the code that is generating this figure. So then when you are, for example, writing a report or an article, or I don't know, just something you want to show to someone or share a website on internet, then you can choose if you want to show or not the code. And this makes it easier for readers. So just let's keep it, in this case, the code height, but you can see the code here in the document. Also, you can select code from other languages. I don't know, not sure if you can execute it, but I know you can just display it as in a particular language. So here, for example, just have to write the name of the code here, of the language here, and then you can leave the rest as it is. So here is just an example, but this code will not be executed, but keywords will be highlighted depending the language. Okay, so now let's go to the fancy part. Any questions so far from the audience or comments? Let me know if I'm too fast or you need to be, or are you already confused? Okay, so we are using a lot of tables in our research, and sometimes we want to print them in our reports. So Markdown provides a very nice way to show tables and using this function. So here we are using data from a R package called Palmer Penguins. You can have a look here. So it's just a table with many columns about penguins. So maybe you are more familiar to the Iris dataset, but it's default in R, but this is, I don't know, I find it more interesting. And like it provides like better separation in the classes for some examples. But okay, let's go back here. So if you just do a cable and any table here, let's say instead of 5, we want 10. And this will generate a table like this. But the problem is we don't know how many. Okay, I have to load it. Yes. But here we have more than 300 lines, and if we do just if we print the entire table, this will take a lot of space in the document, right? And then we don't want that. And then maybe we want a column in a particular order, or we want to, let's say, search for a specific line or a specific keyword in our table. So it's nice that we can print the table, but maybe it's not very useful. So, but I have good news, because there is a package called data table, or DT in this case, and this package provides a function to make the tables interactive. So and this is all you need. Just call this function, call data table, and the table you want. I mean, just like that, without doing anything. And then you will have an interactive table. Yes. So here you see you can specify how many rows you want. In this case, 10 out of 25, 10 out of this number. And then you can sort any column by, oops, this is shaking. Okay, just, okay, yes, it's okay. And you can interact with this table and sort them by any of the columns here. And this is just with one line that you convert the table into something interactive. So I really recommend it to you to use this function. It's quite useful when you are reporting long tables. This is just the basic function, but then you can specify like how many rows you want to show and other things. But we are not going into the details. It's just I just want to let you know that this exists and is very useful for when creating documents. Okay. Questions here or comments? No? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
In case
yes,
to render the RMarkdown as a PDF, how does the interactive feature get managed?
Yeah, I forgot to say. Yes, thanks for saying that. That's a good catch. I didn't read it, but yes, at least this part, these tables they are not working with PDF. Actually, data table, it's a function for in JavaScript, and it's only working in HTML. If you try, I think if you change to PDF, you will not be able to render the document. So this function is only for when you want to have the output as an HTML. Yes, thanks for mentioning that. So these interactive functions are very nice, but yes, they are only working in HTML output. Okay, so now let's insert figures. So depending the figure format, we will use JPEG or PNG R packages. So they are in the list of requirements in the first chunk. And yes, here, and we can use this is the function that we use for insert figures here. It's called include graphics, and then you just provide the name, the path to the figure you have. So in this case, and then you can set the width and the height of the figure, as I'm doing here. And this has to be done in the chunk. And yes, just as we are in Norway, I just use these examples of picture from Theodor Kittelsen. I love his paintings. I don't know, very nice, very beautiful. So yes, the idea here is that you can just insert figures here and then just modify the dimension. So let's just change it a little bit. Just an example you can see. And now it's smaller. So you can modify this by hand. But these are figures that I took from internet. They are also in the repository. But now I think it's more interesting when you generate your own figures using R code. So here we will use the penguins dataset I showed you before and ggplot. And this is the code to generate to generate this figure here. I took it from the repository, so it's the same figure you see in the repository. Let's have a look. As you can see, it's the same code. I took it from the repo there, and this is the code, and you just generate your code, which is this section, and then just print it, and that's it. That's all you need to have a figure here. So if we change these values, warning and message, and then we will have these messages here. So if we, because this table has 2 rows that are empty, and then this tries as a warning, but if we just change this here, say, okay, I know there is something wrong, but I don't want to see it in the code, in the report. So then we just remove it in the chunk. And then this message appears automatic by default, but then we can say, okay, I don't want to print any message from the code in this chunk. So then we can also remove it from the report. Now we have a nice you can do with a normal plot. I mean, simple. And you have a figure here. And yes, so this part is the figure caption, and this has to be specified in the chunk. So let's see. And then you see the change here. And yes, all figures you insert in the same chunk will have the same caption. So I think it's better if you have 1 figure per chunk, so you can edit it and change the name, the dimensions you want, and the other details. Okay, let's remove this. Yes, other question?
Yes. So in case is a figure caption similar to a figure legend? And if yes, what if the legend is quite long? Do we need to put the whole text in that upper part, or is there another way to add maybe longer pieces of text to describe a figure? Like similar to what you see in manuscripts.
So yes, let's say, I just open this document. Let's say we're doing, I don't know, this figure here. Oh no, not this one. Looks like something you can do with R. So all of this will be the figure caption, this text. That's the text you write in the chunk, in the configuration of the chunk. Because when you say legend, the ggplot, or they have also their own legend, like saying, in this case it's not shown, but like saying what is the red, blue, green, but that's a different legend. So this is the figure legend or figure caption. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So here you can insert as much text as you want. Could be very long, but that's the text that will be displayed outside the figure. And all this text here, like the axis and this legend and all of this has to be specified in the plot itself. So this is just something external of the plot. Okay, so let's continue. So this is a static figure. I mean, if you see that if I pass the mouse over each point, I don't have more information. So it's just like the figure we see in a PDF. But with a few lines of code, actually these lines of code, you can convert this a static figure like this into an interactive figure. So this is actually the same plot, and I just adding this function called ggplotly, and this is from the plotly library. That is also a requirement in the first chunk of the document. And just by doing this, you will generate an interactive document, an interactive plot, where you can. I think this is better in the looks better here. Interactive document here, and you can, when you with all the details that you want to show of each point, and you can remove or add elements, and you can also zoom in just the part that you want there, and then you can double click to zoom out, and then just we go back to the original version of the figure. So I find this very nice, and because you just need these 6 lines of code to make your figure interactive. And here, this option tooltip, you specify what you want to show. So, for example, if I don't want to show the x-axis, in this case is the flipper length of the penguins. Just remove that part. We run it. Oh yeah, this is something I forgot to say. When you are generating this document, this will create 2 extra documents with the same name. So the cache document and the files document. So in this case, you can remove it and regenerate the file. Not all the time, but in this case, I don't know why with this figure this was problematic. But if you just remove those folders and rerun it again, then the figure is there. But now, as you see, I change here the tooltip X. I remove them, so now the x-axis is not shown in the annotation here. But let's keep it as it was originally. And then these other options are to display the plotly logo, or other options that appear like a table. I didn't know you can do that. Okay, nice. Hey, let's just show it so you can see. Of course, yes. Sorry for that. Maybe not here, but something should appear here, but makes no difference. It's just like the logo of the plotly library. Oh, maybe it's this bar. Let me check. Yes, it's here. Yes, this is the logo, and this is the bar where you can but you can do the same things I more or less the same things I show you, but this you can move the plot, download as a PNG or other options that you can explore. I normally remove it, but then you can keep it. By default, it's shown. It's just for aesthetics that I remove it, but I think it's also useful to keep it there. So the take-home message here is that just with these lines, you can convert any ggplot to an interactive one. And that, I think that's very, very nice when you want to show, when you want to create a report or a document and you can play with a little bit. Okay, another way to, or questions here about this part? In theory, almost all plots are in ggplot can be converted to this visualization. But there are a few exceptions, and then you have to change a little bit the tooltip. But in general, I think this is the basic. So you can, if you have your own plot, just play a little bit and then play with the tooltip, and then you will see the points that you want to show or hide. Well, I have an example here. That it's using the same library. Let's wait a little bit. My internet is slow today. Yes, and sorry for the delay. I don't know what's happening. Yes. So this is almost like the points, and then you can see you see that it's the same library, and then you can specify more features in the tooltip. But this actually is just the plot, and then just converted to a plot-like object using the same function, and just change a little bit the tooltip. Yes, other question there?
Is it possible to maybe add additional information that might not be contained in the ggplot? Like, for example, in this case, say that you had some metadata about the experiment that was used, like a link to the paper that published it, or some other information that is not plotted. Is that possible?
Yes. The only thing is that this information should be in the table that you use to create to pick of your this should be a column in your table, in your data. So for example, let's try something here. So if we do the call names of the penguins, I don't know, let's add year. So this is a little bit tricky, but if you do, for example, if you add another aesthetic here, for example, label, and I use year as label, this will not change the code. This will not change the plot, because is not used any of the it's not used in any of the methods to generate the plot, but year is like now it's added in the metadata for this plot. So now if we add here a label, that is the aesthetic that we added here, this should be displayed here now. Okay, yes, this thing. Yes, you see now the year there. So it's a little bit tricky. I don't know if there is a cleaner way, but if someone knows or finds the way, just change the code. The repository should be open. But yes, whether all the points you want to show in the tooltip should be aesthetics that you provide to the plot when you generate the ggplot. So that's the condition. Is that okay? Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. You're welcome. So you can add as many things as you want, as much as aesthetics you have here. Another way to insert figures is, for example, when you generate your figure in your script, and then you save the figure as an RData object, and then you want to load this RData and print it in your document. So if you want to do that, in this case, this is an RData object that I generated, and then you load it. You use this to assign the content of this file to this variable. So now the content is called number of mutation plot, and then just display it, and then you will see it here, like as it was saved in my machine before I added it. So maybe I can show you. But I'm writing a document where all the figures, I generate them externally, and then I'm just adding one by one and then render it. So it's just to make it, just to add the figures, and I don't have to modify them. So this could be useful in some cases. And other ways you can do is combine, you want to generate a plot or a figure that contains many figures at the same time. So here we are generating 4 figures in one plot, and the 4 are from different sources. So we have one PNG, one JPEG, one loaded from RData, and the other it's a ggplot. So you can combine the 4, and then you need this function called grid arrange. The arguments are the plots that you want to plot. So here are 4, and then you say how many columns you want. So for example, I could say 4. This will create something maybe not nice, but okay, maybe it's the spacing. Oh yes, yeah. And here you can say the height and the width of your figures. Oops, but there is something, I don't know what. Okay, let's keep it as was. Anyone? Yeah, this is working. I know why. Okay, I know. I think I have to run this, and now probably. Let's see if this works. I don't know. Sorry for that, but let's keep it as it was. I will check later what's happening there. But yeah, you can change the, like in this case it's 2 by 2, but if you have, could be one row with 4 or 4 columns or 4 rows, and you can play a little bit how you want to display it. So now let's explore a little bit the penguin dataset. So this is my favorite part, and this is Eva, who is our president, who showed me how to make this part. So it's actually you can hide, let's say, plots in your document, so you don't have to. Let's show it here. It's better. So you don't have to print one after the other. So all of them are hidden, and then you can change the feature you want to show. So in this case, is the penguin dataset, and I choose 4 different traits, like the peak length, depth, the flipper, and the body mass, and the three different species that are shown in the dataset. And then if you just click here, then you can see change the plot, the trait. So this is a little bit tricky to do, but I of course I will show you here. So the first part, you need to generate this ggplot. In this case, I use this package. I'll show you. Okay, it will, yes. So it's very nice package to make to compare distributions. It's very nice. I recommend it to you. They have very nice features, and you can add like nice colors and all of that. Okay, so first you need to generate your ggplot, and then here I'm using the four different traits that are, these will be the names in the data. So if we see here the call names of this data set, here you have the bill length, depth, flipper length, and the body mass. So when I use this, I generate these plots inside a for loop, and then I'm replacing here the column by this variable here. So then each element in this list is one of these plots. So now this is another variable that this is. So this is the text that you will see here. It's not, it are the same variables, but the text is different. But this is the text you want to display here. So for example, if I change this, I add a 2 there, then we will see a change here. So this is the text you want to, you will read in your report. And now, yes, when you want to add this, I forgot, you have to add this little text here. So here we have the header panel of figures here, and the next one, and in this case is penguins trait distributions, should have this this text dot tab set. And yes, so now we are adding the headings here. So I recommend to use this for loop. And the headings you want to add should have one more sharp than this one. So in this case, we are using 3. And this is, as I mentioned before, this is the how to say, the levels on your document. If here we are using 3, when you want to iterate and create this tab, you need to use one more, so 4 in this case. So then you plot the plot you want here. So it's from 1 to 4. And then you proceed. And once you are out the for loop, then you have to close again this header. So here you have three times the sharp symbol. So then you need it 3 times here again. It's a little tricky, but once you understand it, it's very nice. You can use this, of course, as example. Just remember to the number of these things is needed. So if I do like this, I think I guess it will not work or will do something different. Yes. So you see now they are the 4 plots in line, and we don't. So let's just respect the number of the sharps that you need. Yes, but of course we can go as complex as we want. So now we have nested. So here is the same logic, but now each plot of this is separated. So here we have the 4 traits, the bill length, depth, flipper length, and body mass, but then we can change the species. So instead of having the 12 plots one after the other and making the document very, very long, so you can like compact it, condense it in this presentation in this way. And I think it's nicer to have it there. And I saw reports from other people doing that, and looks very, very, very beautiful, very professional, I would say. So yes, the code is here, so you can use it for your projects. So here is the logic is the same. So here we are more or less the same variables, the species name and the column name. So then we are, in this case, I'm iterating 2 times to generate a list that contains the species and the trait that I want to show. So first, remember, generate the code, generate the plot, and then we are using the similar idea here. So once again, in this, you need to insert the tab set here. In this case, we have 3 sharps. So now we have 4. And as we want to insert another one, we again insert the tab set, and the next one we want to add will be 5. And then we can repeat the same, and I think you can add more as you want, but I think with 1 and 2, that's enough. It's a little bit tricky, and maybe you have to check the code after that and understand it, but just remember to maintain the number, a coherent number of the sharp symbol. And that's it, I think. Yes. So at the end, if you open the document, you will have something like this. So this is a template that you can modify and play with and use it for your own projects or businesses. And so feel free to modify it to add new stuff that you find. I know that you can also add buttons to download code or download tables. I didn't add them, but maybe I can modify the repository. So the repository is public, so you can take the code there. Yes, a question there.
Thank you for presentation. And I know some people like to have specific choices for the appearance of the text, or like the color scheme or stuff like that. And I was wondering if some similar personalization are possible within RMarkdown? Like, for example, if you want to change the color of the headings and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot that. Yes, that's true. I think I didn't write it here. Okay, but then you can just change it. Markdown themes. So these themes are set in the header, in the YAML file, in the YAML header. So this theme is called Cerulean, but then you have more here in this website. I will add it to the. So this is the Cerulean theme. Then you have others. Let's say I don't know. Let's find one that looks interesting. I don't see too much the difference, but let's say Yeti. I think these are the default. And if we change this here, they are already predefined colors and predefined. Yes, now you see it's a different. Also changed here the colors in the table. The font is different. The background colors are different. So these are the default. And other themes that are a little bit more complex or maybe nicer need an extra package. For example, if you want to use this HTML clean, you need to install these RMD formats. But this is a little bit more more advanced. Well, not necessarily advanced, but I didn't consider this I didn't consider it for this presentation. But of course, you can modify it for the theme of your preference. I don't know. Let's try this paper. In this case, I prefer the Cerulean theme because it's not so white. So for me, but you see, the content is the same. It's just a little bit the formatting could be a little different. But here you have many, and yes, these are the default. Many of them look very nice. Like this one is very nice. It's like looks like the printing of a book. But yes, so you see that you can do many things in Markdown, and with a simple and just adding a few lines of code, you can really have nice reports and make your output interactive. So if someone wants to say something or comments or whatever, please don't be shy. As I told you before, the repository is here, and all the examples and all what we have saw today. It's here, so you can play with it, modify it, and change it to your convenience. Yes, I just added one script here. So of course you can write the RMD document and compile it in RStudio, but maybe there will be the case that you need to compile it, but outside RStudio. So for example, if you need to generate an automatic report, so if you just need to run this R script that it's in the repository, and here the option -d should be the file that you want to render. So if I do this, then this will run this will generate the document in the command line. So there is no, so with RStudio, it makes easier to edit and see the result immediately, but you don't need RStudio to run RMarkdown documents. And this script is also here, and you can use it. Okay, so any comments, questions, or or doubts, just say it now, or you can contact us. This is my email, and here we have the Twitter of the RSG Norway.